Happy May. I am Tiffany.
And I am Andrea.
And we are Relatively Unstable. Do not forget to like, follow, share, subscribe. Maybe we'll be motivated to put more content out there, even though it's supposed to work the other way around. We post a lot of content, it starts picking up, but we need some help getting motivated. Help us out. We want to talk to you. Hopefully you want to hear from us. Today, we are talking about something we really know nothing about.
Not a thing.
What does it mean to be an adult? How do you know you're grown? We are, the phrase is, bitch, I'm grown. Right. I don't know that I am. I'm old. I'm middle-aged. I don't know that I am an adult. Yeah. I am physically an adult, that is for sure. But I don't know if I am an adult.
See, but I feel like, so my gauge is always, like kids to me are like they send you into adulthood. Like they get you there quick. Mm-hmm. I am childless, so I really don't feel like I'm an adult. Like I am like, Snickers for breakfast type person. Like I really just have no boundaries, and I don't really have anything that would motivate me to do better, kind of. Like that's sad to say. That's sad to admit out loud. Okay.
Well, to be fair, I'm not childless, but I think what you're doing is quite adult. You don't hide it. You just eat your Snickers for breakfast. Because I do have to like show some sort of responsibility, I hide the shit. So that's very childlike. So that they don't see, so that Jacob doesn't see me eating a cookie for breakfast. Then, I wait until he's good and in his school session, and then I eat my cookie for breakfast.
Didn't you post a meme about that? Like all the lies that you tell your kids that carbs are bad, you can't eat, like.
You can eat cake and cookies for breakfast. You have the full autonomy to do so.
As an adult, though.
As an adult.
Not as a child.
Well, if you were a child, you shouldn't be listening to this anyway.
Correct. But so we should clarify, as an adult aged person, and maybe not necessarily an adult in spirit, you can eat cake cookies for breakfast.
Yes, because sometimes I actually do feel like my 10-year-old is more adult than I am.
I mean, he is pretty special. He's
a little guy. Special. But then I have a 24-year-old that I love him. I love him. I don't know if he's quite he feels very much in his heart that he's an adult. Mm-hmm. But as an older person, I see things that I wish would be more adult. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He's getting there, baby steps. He's getting there. I can at least shut one eye at night now, instead of keeping them both propped open all night. Right. But as for me, I don't know that I'm qualified to make that judgment or really to be his mother. I don't understand how I was able to leave the hospital with either one of those children. I don't know what qualified me to do so, simply because I had a uterus and pushed them out. So now they're mine?
They're yours, girl.
And I'm responsible for them, and I'm responsible for guiding them into adulthood, whatever that is. So we pay bills.
That's
super terrifying.
Yeah.
Which it's also Mother's Day week, right? It's going to be Mother's Day this weekend, right?
Ooh.
So happy Mother's Day to the mothers.
I've totally forgot to get her anything, so I got to get on.
not too late. It's not too late.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, it is scary because I don't know that it feels like I still feel like I'm like in high school.
Me too.
Only I don't look like it. Like I still feel like I'm in high school. I like dynamics haven't changed. The difference is that, you know, my dad is not dropping me off and picking me up every day. And I actually do have to pay bills,
Yeah.
which I am very bad at doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I also feel very much like I'm in high school and similar. Like I don't look like it. This gut tells me that I am not. But
stop.
mentally, I still feel very young. And I feel like, I mean, I guess living on my own, started, when I first moved out of my mom's house, I guess that's kind of when I felt like an adult a little bit. But even those circumstances weren't like full adult because it was my dad's house and it was paid off, so I kind of just moved in there and just paid the taxes and the utility bills.
Mhm.
So like it still wasn't like the full on like rent or mortgage plus utilities plus car note plus, so I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess I'm an adult, but
So, how old were you when you moved out?
let's see, 24.
Okay. And like I remember I remember being 18, maybe nine, no, I had to be more like 19. There were so many times in my youth where I really thought I was an adult. Like I thought I was grown. I
Mm-hmm.
thought there were things I could handle. But one, I was super ill prepared to be an adult, like because I had parents that um, didn't like um, make me, I guess. I don't know. Like I had lots of adult responsibilities in my house, meaning like caring for my siblings and things like that. But I knew those responsibilities in the context of that family.
Right.
I didn't have to worry about doing that, keeping the lights on, getting to work on time, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, thinking about how I was um, at like 18 and 19, when I thought 17, when I thought I had this boyfriend and I thought we were going to get married. Like, I thought that was stupid. I won't say he was stupid. We were both very young and, that wouldn't have worked. And then I think about different story. But then I think about like when I was 19 and I went to try, I was so like, I had a different boyfriend and he was, a different type of problem. And I thought, oh, I need my space. I need my space because, really I needed my space because I wasn't adult enough to handle my bad decisions and the judgment that came with this person. So I had to get out. I had to get out. And my girlfriend and I were going to go get an apartment. Now, one, I won't say where the apartment was, but if I were an adult, I would have known that's not the place that I should have been trying to move.
Right.
One. Two, uh, I had already fucked up my credit at 19 and I had no idea
Right.
about
Yeah.
it or that I had no idea. And so when I arrogantly applied for this apartment with a girlfriend, the person was like, your roommate's credit is really bad.
Oops.
I didn't know, I had no idea. So I was already behind there.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
And
you're basically like saying my life to me. Like, I don't think I had bad boyfriends at 18 or 19,
I did.
but I was but I didn't have any boyfriends. Like I was like really just kind of like, you know, I want to date, but I don't want a commitment. Like I don't want labels. Like I just watched 500 Days of Summer again. It's one of my favorite movies.
I've
And,
never seen that.
and like basically how Summer is, she's very like non-committal. Like she just wants to just, you know, basically do everything that a boyfriend and girlfriend does, but she just doesn't want the label so she can
So
get the
she was
hell out of
a man.
right, right. So, so, but like I was just watching that and I was just like, yeah, like that's exactly how I was during like my out of high school, right out of high school, even into like my uh yeah, so like my out of high school time, like 18, 19, and even into my early 20s even. I just was like, like give me a couple dates. Let me see what the sex is like. And I don't that's like that's it. I
I
don't really
think
want
that's a grown up. I think that's a far more grown up perspective than what I had. And I thought that's who I was like in my 20s and 30s, but I really wasn't.
Mhm,
And part of it is just the way I was conditioned.
mhm,
And I was conditioned to think because my grandmother got married young, my mother got married young, that I was supposed to get married young. And um, but that's all I knew. I didn't know any of the what comes with that or what that even really means.
mhm.
If I knew that, I would have known that that's not what I wanted.
Right.
But I spent so much time being upset that that's not what I had because I didn't know that that was not for me.
Mhm, mhm,
So, but then I like tried to like mind fuck myself like, oh, that's not what I want. I just want, to do now. Sidebar, I do firmly believe your 20s are for you.
mhm,
I would even say some of your 30s are for you. Do
mhm,
it all. Do it all. Do them all. Do whatever. That's the time to do it safely.
mhm,
But I really did think that's what being a grown up was. That was so stupid because now what I know is there are plenty of people who are married, people who have like not like have these great careers, but they are children.
mhm. That's the other thing. Like being a kid and seeing adults like your parents or your parents' friends, like everybody seems so much older. Like, and I know like they were older than much older than us, but I'm just saying like it seemed like they were so much more older and mature at 30, 35, 40. Then now I'm at almost 40 and I'm like, were they on this bullshit? And I just didn't see it because I was a kid thinking that they were like, having their shit together. Like,
Right. Yeah. And so I think the answer is, well, I can speak that for me, the answer is yes, they
mhm,
were. Like, they were for sure. Like, I really didn't have a taste of like, I was around so many different people. Like, my parents were young, so I was around like, I was always around adults. I was the kid that was always with the adults. But one, again, my parents were so young, I didn't realize how young they were. But then when I finally was like, oh, I started meeting certain people, women in particular, and I was like, oh wow, she's grown.
mhm,
Like she's an adult. Like I it wasn't a fear, it was a respect. Like I had a different kind of respect for these women.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that's,
That's
it.
what.
But then yeah, but then I also had like, I did have like a fear of men who seemed more authoritative.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I didn't, I was quite intimidated by that type of, because I didn't have those type of boundaries. I didn't have that type of, uh, I just didn't understand it. Like, um, it was a weird foreign concept to me, and it did wear me down, just I think self-esteem wise a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
even though some of them were people I'd known all my life. But then I see them and meet them in different environments, like who they are at work. Like, you're not the same person that's like, you know, drinking at, so and so's get together or whatever. Like, oh, you mean business,
Right. Right.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, like I have friends like that. Like, I mean, my friend Jacqueline, and I have to say that even though I call her by her nickname in close company, but for the public, Jacqueline. Um, and I've always felt like the Tierra was really grown, like grown.
Uh-huh.
And then I just always felt like I was just kind of like floating around, just kind of, you know.
And see, so like Jacqueline, like she clearly has like one, an ability to separate this personal and professional persona.
Hmm.
Um, and she's comfortable in doing that.
Right.
And like for me, I'm not. I'm,
I don't have the energy.
of course I can, adjust to situations and know the room and all that kind of stuff, but uh, it's hard for me to be um it's hard for me to do that, so like even at work, like I'm I have work me, but work me is really just a modified version of Mimi.
Same, same.
And it only modifies if I'm in certain company at work, because there's some company at work that I can be my authentic self.
Hmm.
I should say, I'm always me, but of course there are some meetings where you have to be a little less you.
Hmm.
And but I'm still, that whole turn on turn off, that's really difficult for me. So
Same.
is that being an adult, being able to do that? Is that part of being an adult?
Yeah, that is also when I was working in advertising. Yeah, there were people that I could be 100% injury around. But even still though, like I never I just was I I'm not good at playing office politics.
Yeah.
So I never I trusted them, but I didn't know like what the dynamics were. And so maybe I didn't say something that I would have said if this was just my girlfriend, or this was just like somebody that that I was cool with. Um, but yeah, like sidebar, the whole concept of work is really, really fucking strange. Like it's so weird, like working in an office, like like you literally have to put everything that you do normally like in a box and like put it off to the side and be this one kind of person that like conforms to a company culture, and you forge friendships that may or may not be authentic for the sake of the team, the project, the job, whatever it is. And then you go home And now you can just be yourself again. Like, and you have to do that for 8 hours every single day. Like that shit is weird.
It is so weird.
It's so
Again,
weird.
young Jacob says to me, why do people have to go to work? Like he said, who invented work? He was like,
Still trying to figure
why
that.
can't you? He was like, why can't you just, he said something to the effect of, why can't you just like trade things or go get what you want to get or something like that? I'm like, that is a good question, young Jacob. I'm not an economist, so I can't explain this like really to you. So I'm going to go to work.
Right, right. Maybe I'll learn why at work and then I can come home and tell you because I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that, sweetheart. Work is weird.
It's so weird. Like I remember thinking about that like when I was working in advertising and just like knowing how weird some of my coworkers were that I love, like, but they're into weird shit.
Mhm.
And like knowing that like they were able to share their weird shit with me, but like because I was on their team or whatever, but like the outside, like they wouldn't talk about the shit that they talk about with, Susie from accounting. Like, like
Right.
so just just the whole concept of just having to like put put who you really are like away for 8 hours and then having to and then coming home and having that process of like kind of getting back to yourself only to do it another 4 days out the
Right.
week.
And you only get to be yourself for like what, maybe 2 to 4 hours, depending on what time you get home.
Right.
And so that's another thing, like being an adult. Like, so being an adult, you have to conform to all these norms, these social norms that we didn't make up. Like, who says what is appropriate and what's not? Now, I am very good at identifying what I think is appropriate or not. As inappropriate as I am, there are things that I do find inappropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then I do get indignant if somebody says what I'm doing is inappropriate. So now, like, I can't talk about certain things in certain company, who says? So now all of a sudden, I don't fit the culture of this company or that. And I do look back and think, about things that I did and said in the past, like when I was younger. And I think about like, dang, even today, sometimes I'm like, I shouldn't have said or done that. Like maybe had in that moment I had not said or done that, I wouldn't have been thought of this way or that way, or this wouldn't happen. But the reality is that it really probably wouldn't have mattered because, well, no, because I wasn't always being myself either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. But I didn't really have that kind of guidance to um say, be yourself or modify yourself or whatever. I had to really feel my way through that.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't either. um I mean, well, no, I take that back. I did, but in a different way. So my mom was like, she was the like dressed to the nines person in the office. Okay.
Mhm.
Which, if you know me outside of this podcast in real life, you know that that is not who I am as a person at all.
Out.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Well,
Not.
now I have to out her a little bit because I saw a picture of her today and she was dressed so darn cute.
That was a special
I'm,
occasion, but
well,
to go to work though, whoo, child, you should see like some of the ways that my hair would be and the shirts and pants that I would wear. Like I would wear the same jeans like every day for like a week. Just like yeah, I'm just gonna keep wearing these jeans because
Respect.
I'm waking up 5 minutes before, not 5 minutes before I have to go where I won't be late. I'm waking up 5 minutes before I'm like 10 to 15 minutes late. So like I already know 10 to 15 minutes late. So I'm waking up 5 minutes before it's time for me to be 15 minutes late. So yeah, but like my mom was, like I said, she was the dressed to the nines woman at work. And she also was the, if I don't like you, I'm not going to talk to you at all. You don't exist in my world person in the office. So
Damn.
I guess I picked up a little bit of that, probably by osmosis, but because especially towards the end of my stint in an office environment, I just was so fucking tired of being there that I just hated everybody and everything was stupid. Everything pissed me off. Like I would get an email like, "The fuck are you emailing me for? It's your job. It's actually your job to get this email and to do what the email says. That's
Right.
squarely in your job description." So just pissed for no reason. But
And so, like, to your point, so about dressing for work, I assumed, well, one, we were taught in high school you're supposed to wear suits to work and this and that. So
Mhm.
when I, well, let's see. Yeah, like, so when I had my first job in a real place, if you will, um, I was wearing suits all the time.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then I was like, at some point I feel like I found, but I wasn't wearing suits. I was also wearing suits more out of like an insecurity because I didn't feel like I measured up to the other people in the office.
Mhm.
And then once I started like feeling myself a little bit more, I was like, fuck this suit, fuck that suit. Like, I'm not wearing this shit. Like, why am I wearing this? I'm hot, I'm sweaty, I feel confined. Like to this, I don't like like I like the way blazers look, but I don't like wearing blazers. Like I feel like I'm like a stuffed sausage in a blazer. So as cute as they are, you'll probably never see me in a blazer.
I can't
Um,
get blazers because of the boobs. Like
yeah.
by the time they fit over this, like I look like a football and the sleeves
Right.
down to my knees. It's a mess.
And that is another thing. Like to really like, unless, I mean, I guess you can wear it open, but to have like that sleek blazer look, you really can't have a lot of boobs.
Yeah.
And like only if when I'm like 130 pounds, which I'll never be again, do I not have boobs. So it just doesn't work. Um, but eventually I was like, oh, okay, it's okay if I wear color. It's okay if if I just wear a dress or whatever. And then like, the more I got, and even when I liked dressing for work, not like dress up, but like I like shopping. I like clothes. You've seen my closet. Like I like a lot of stuff. I like, I like putting the colors together and all that kind of stuff. Um, but now I'm having a real problem working from home. I usually, if I don't have any meetings, which is rare, but if I don't have any meetings, I'm usually working in my bathrobe all day.
Mhm. Mhm.
Uh, if I shower, bonus.
Mhm.
And typically, to get dressed for work, I put my hair, I wet a brush, get the
Mhm.
edges, and put some glasses on. And then I switch from my robe to this just happens to be sitting here, my jacket that I bought because it feels like a robe.
Right. 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 Oh man. Yeah.
That's
Like
really adulting.
Yeah, I have definitely taken calls with just tops on. Bonus if it's like a sweatshirt material where where you can't really tell if I have on a bra or not. Like if I angle the camera just right, like this.
Right. Most
So
of the time, the camera is up here. I like my t-shirts for the podcast. So, of course, I have it down a little bit and I had to wear a bra, but yeah. Mm-mm. I might, if I worked out, I might have on my sports bra for the third day in a row. Like, that's how bad it's gotten. So, I don't know. That's
so
where we are.
so who do we know? Like I know one person that I feel is like a super adult.
Did we already say her name?
Nope.
Because from far away, she looks like a super adult.
So I wonder if you're thinking about the same person I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about the woman that puts us through hell every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and sometimes Saturday.
Oh, she is an adult.
She's very much an adult.
She is an adult. I wish we could call her right now and see what she would say. She is an adult. She's an adult in that she's got everything together. Like she's very confident, and I think that that is part of being an adult. Even though, and I'm not saying that you have to be um that you can't have insecurities,
Mm-hmm.
but she's comfortable in her own skin, and she clearly knows what makes her feel good, which I do think that is part of being an adult. And she does what it is, she does that.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a full-time job, and she has two kids that, are couldn't be cuter or
Yes,
just
just
more well adjusted.
and
um
also are like fitness trainers in the making because they like I'm like y'all doing this exercise
mhm.
better than me. I'm struggling, and I know you're like 6 or however however old the kid is, but like, geez, but yeah.
And see, like, I actually feel like I have a lot of adult friends. So let's talk about what qualities about these women do I feel like make them adults? Um, or why do I think of them as adults versus me?
Mm-hmm.
They mind their own business. I do not. That's the first thing. They mind their own business. I do not. Um, like they are constantly taught, like they just talk about grown-up stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, wow. I listen, I'm like, oh wow. It's stuff that I'm like up on, and like I have insurance, I have life insurance, I have decent life insurance too. Like I have multiple policies and all that. But like they like have like, they just have all their finances perfect, and like they did everything in order, and their schedules are full. And I'm like the one, I'm like, y'all just tell me when you want to come over because we're here. I'm
We ain't doing shit.
like,
So
we don't have all that to do. I don't know, like, what are you doing? Like, they are very, but then at the same time, they're so down. Like, the reason that we are friends is because I can be myself with them. They're so, we have so much fun, like fun that you probably wouldn't, like if we were our younger selves, wouldn't, like if my 24-year-old son came over, he would not be thinking I'm as lame as he thinks I am. You know,
mm-hmm.
like I learned how to play beer pong. I think I'm sweet. So um, but yeah, like they just, and then I have other friends who have it together in those ways, but there are but then like maybe emotionally or socially, I don't think of them as adults.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like I have another friend, she's grown as shit. Like like she's grown. Like I'm like, oh wow. But again, like but you have to like know her, and if you know her, you know how, ignorant she can get
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
in a good way. And so I consider myself maybe like surrounding myself with people who will help me get there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
because I'm not there. I don't think I'm there.
Well, see, that's like comparable to being like the president. Like the president don't know everything, but he knows who do.
Oh, are you comparing me to the president?
I am. I am.
Oh,
So like, yeah. And yeah, I mean, my two closest like super adult friends, like it really hasn't rubbed off on me, but you know, I think I just said this to Tierra the other day. I was just like, I'm probably not ever really gonna get all of my shit together. Like not ever really. And it's fine because that gives me something to work on every day. So like,
yeah, that's put a lot of pressure on yourself. I just feel like there are some people who that's just who they were born to, what they were born to do.
yeah.
All Sagittarians were born to have their shit together. Like I feel that way fundamentally.
I know
You
one,
said what?
that is absolutely not.
There's an exception to every
Great,
situation.
wonderful, good friend of mine, but he does not have it together.
So you just said he.
True.
Anyway,
Right.
not everybody, not every,
Hmm.
uh, there are some Black people that aren't invited to the cookout. So
And then
let's,
there's
so,
there's
but in general, I think of them as people born to have their shit together. They
hmm
just, they're so regimented, and they really are kind of tunnel vision. If they get distracted, they get right back on course, but they don't like leaving unfinished business.
hmm
So I think, like, I have a friend, like, she is a Sagittarius, and she's one of the people that I think of as very adult. Like, she's just, I'm like, wow, you're so, like, I watch her in amazement, and she just does it effortlessly. That's who she was born to be.
hmm
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how her mind works. That's who she was. So I can't put the pressure on myself to be her. I
hmm
can be grateful that she is in my world, and I can learn a couple tricks from her that I can incorporate into my chaos.
hmm hmm
So if I were to give myself credit for being adult in some way, it's that I do sometimes learn from other people.
Yep.
I
And
am hard-headed,
you know how to
and I what?
you know how to pick them.
Yes, I do. I try. I think I do. And if I pick them wrong, I'm good at walking away.
Hmm. That's very adult.
But it's taken me a long time to get to this point. And like, my patience is just not what it used to be. I used to have patience. I just think about, like, how many, like, even sometimes I look at I'm like, who is this? How many, like, I don't know if that's a sign. And this is something I struggle with. Like, is being an adult having a tight circle, or is being an adult having a big circle? Like, which one is it? Is it, you have this tight circle, or you have, like, because, like, I look at some circles of friends and I'm like, y'all look so boring. Like, this is like, this is like the most boring group of friends ever. Like, ever. That's the thing about me. I like people who like to have fun.
Hmm.
So otherwise, I might as well just be sitting by myself.
Right.
So, but some people, I'm like, y'all are too adult. Like, like, that's not,
Like,
that wasn't funny.
right.
That wasn't. This is not fun. Like, so I don't, but I'll, like, think about, like, wow, like, I used to talk to so many people, like, so, like, had all these numbers, and, like, was always connecting with different people, and now I'm like, mm-mm. But I still do attract people, And I was telling Howard, like, social media, which we'll talk about this another time, but social media has widened like my net to like this new cache of like um I don't know, like social media friends that
Mhm.
I just find myself feeling their energy, you know, but then I'm always like, oh, like I end up liking people too quickly, and then I'm like, nope, never mind, like you're cool, but I realize our energies don't match like I thought they did.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Um, like you're still a cool person, but
Mm, yeah.
yeah, like you know, whether it's drama or whether it's narcissism or whether it's, you know, whatever, you know, our traumas don't match.
Right.
Like
Right.
our goals don't match.
Right.
And at this point, like my friend, I kind of have to like pick the ones that are gonna like jump off the page and into my real life. Like I would pick, you know, a man. Like you
Mhm.
have to, you know, if you're gonna jump off the page and into my real life, like I have to be able to trust you and trust that if you know you're around my friends that I've had forever, that we're all going to get along, or if we don't, that we can take it offline. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
that's why I
Yeah.
say I still feel like it's high school.
Yeah. It is. It can be very cliquish. And I think to answer your question, I think that to me, for me, like I feel like being an adult when it comes to like friend circles, I think tighter the better for me. Like
Mhm.
I I just can't keep up with a lot of folks. Like, I mean, if you saw how many friends I have on Facebook versus how many people I have unfollowed, like it's probably like right up there.
I unfollowed
So it's
somebody
like
today.
I
It
can't
felt
like,
really good.
yeah, like I can't just some people just can't. I just don't need to know everything about them. And like, I see them, it's cool, great. Let's kick it for a minute. But then like, I just can't, like, I can't keep up with, especially with like if your tight friend circle is doing a lot, like, and not in a bad way, but like, if they're
Yeah,
like traveling or like their kids are growing up and doing things or businesses popping up, like, that's enough to like try to
yeah.
keep up with that. So yeah, I can't. I can't.
And I'm kind of, and I mean, I think about my circle, like my off the page. So now, like off the page, on the page circle, and it's pretty big. Like it's, you know, it's as big as I need it to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a room for more person if the quality is there. And I'm not making a judgment on people. The quality of the person is the quality of the relationship, or you know, whatever.
Hmm.
Um, and sometimes I need it. It's like sometimes I do like want to like if if I if I'm pulled toward the person, then I'm like, okay, well, let me see if she and I, you know, really do vibe.
Hmm.
Because perhaps because I do have such grown-up friends, you know, there are grown-up slots to fit into. So like if this grown-up is busy, then maybe this grown-up is not.
Right.
And I need a distraction. So this grown-up and I can go have drinks while my other grown-ups, like, because I'm not gonna get like, you know, I don't know. But I definitely don't do the like everybody in the pool type thing anymore.
Mm-mm. It's too
I
much.
don't. It's too much. I have, you know, um, but I still like knowing a lot of people. Like I'm nosy. I told you I don't mind my business. So, you know, but the thing is, and I don't know if this is the grown up thing or if this is the childish thing. If I don't like you, I really just don't like you.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, one should and would say, well, you just don't have to fuck with them. Well,
Well,
I mean, most of the time that is true. But,
but then
you
how
know,
what bullshit is that they up to? How will I know?
thank you. Thank you. And then there are some people that like, again, so you like, okay, cousins. I don't really fuck with any of my cousins too much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just don't. And it's mostly because we are so dramatically different.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, you could say, well, you just don't have to, like, I really don't have to mess with them, but I have to have, like, there's like this obligation to maintain some,
Yeah.
you know, whatever. Now, I don't interact with them to the point that most of the time they fall out of my algorithm,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes they pop up and I'm like, shit,
Shit.
I don't need that. But they are, whew. I mean, but if you look at them in their world, they look like adults.
Right.
They pay their bills,
Right.
they go on vacation, they got all the Louis, all the Gucci, all the this, all the designer, all their clothes,
Mm-hmm.
popping bottles,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they look like the checkbox adults.
Right. Right.
I think there's more to it. That's
Yeah.
all I say.
Yeah.
I just think there's more to it. There is a content, there content matters, meaning, you know, and I will even say that they have good hearts.
Hmm.
But even for me, or I shouldn't say even for me, I think this is common knowledge. It takes more than a good heart.
Yeah.
Like there's something else. Like you have to be adult enough to know that adults are imperfect. Adults, and while I understand, I'm also going to judge, just like somebody is judging me right now.
Right.
It's going to happen. So I got to keep a tribe around me that gets that.
Yeah. 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 And that brings me to another point of um what is an adult communication, being able to have difficult conversations and like
Yeah.
just being honest with yourself about what you want, what you don't want, what's working, what's not working, whatever it is. I
So
am not the best with
self-awareness.
that. Yeah, self-awareness. I am not the best with having difficult conversations with some folks. Um,
Same.
sometimes
But
but a part of me feels like the reason why I hesitate to have difficult conversations with people is because I don't really care that much. Like I don't really care to repair the friendship or the relationship or whatever it is. Like so it's partly because I don't want to have the conversation, but it's also part because I don't really see the value in it. Like if this was a 20 something year friendship that I needed to, you know, crawl on my knees to have them forgive me, I would do that because that would be valuable to me. But if it's not that, then it's just kind of like, well, I mean,
yeah, I
okay.
get that. And yeah, because I'm not always like, I am like that, but sometimes I'm like that, even if it's not a even if it's not that I don't care, it's just that I just don't have the capacity to have that conversation, or the 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 content of the conversation is not important to me, which I guess if I love and care about the person, it should be. But I mean, if I'm being honest, like, we've talked about my empathy meter and it's low. So, and plus my attention span is very short, very short.
Mhm.
So a difficult conversation can only last so long before I'm checked out. Like,
Right.
I only have, this much attention span. But I think this is kind of a good place for us to like take it full circle. And I think that you're very right, Andrea. And self-awareness is key. And that is a really difficult thing to, one, it's a difficult thing to gauge, because there are people who really truly believe they are self-aware,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but you're looking at them like,
But you ain't
oh
though.
girl, bruh, no. um but that's that lack of self-awareness, and then you're like, okay, so now you're acting like a child.
Right. Right.
But there is something, a maturity that comes with being able to say, you know I don't know this, or I haven't achieved this, or I'm not this. You know, I feel a certain way because of this,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that's okay. I am insecure because, or this is all I have to offer. Like, I would tell, what was it last time when we were talking about, I don't know if I should even talk about this, but like, we were talking about like, kind of like the culture of social media, and kind of like that narcissistic culture of it. And um I could appreciate somebody saying, you know what, blank stare selfies is with my lips poked out is really all I have to offer you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's nothing else to me.
This is what I
I'm
give.
not deep. I don't care about social justice. I don't, my kids are a priority, not my main priority.
Mm-hmm.
This is all I have. Blank stare, filter, stars. You know, I can handle that
Mm-hmm.
a little bit more than I can handle, uh, what is obviously insecurity. And I think part of the reason is because it makes me sad.
Right. It's
It makes me angry, and then it makes me angry. I go through this whole range of emotions about something that's, again, none of my business. So that's immature, but it makes me sad that that is that person's depth. And then it makes me angry that people are feeding into this, adding to like,
but yeah, like just be honest with what you have and what you don't have.
and it sucks to do so.
Mhm.
It can suck to do so. It really can. And I don't know, I don't know, if it's harder for a man, or if it's harder for a woman, or if it's harder for people going at different intersections. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just hard for people, period. But some people seem to be really good at it, and some people seem to be really bad at it.
Yep.
But I would say that that's my takeaway, is that self-awareness,
Mm.
it's not, I don't even think it's the way you treat people. I don't like, because again, if you're just not into people and you are comfortable with that, then I respect that.
Right. Just be honest and just be more self-aware about
Try,
it.
try.
Yeah.
The people who love you are going to keep loving you.
Yep. Absolutely.
And surround yourself with people who are busy so they miss all your All the extra,
Right, right.
But yep. We're gonna work on our self-awareness this year.
Hmm.
I'll work on mine. Being truly self-aware, I'm not a hard worker, so we'll see how far we get. Andrea, I think, has a good grasp on it. I've never met anyone more genuine.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm still rough around the edges in some places. So
I'm very rough around the edges, but I showered for you guys. I put on lipstick.
and she's so pretty, so pretty.
Aw,
And I really
still
wish,
doing it wrong.
really wish that I could get like just a heads up, because I would definitely have tried to like done something with my hair, maybe put a dab of something on my lips. But that's okay.
Really,
That's okay.
really,
Mhm.
really. Let's talk about all the times you have on dangly earrings, feathers and shit, dark lip, and your perfect teeth.
Oh,
Get real. You get what you get. And most of the time you get not this.
you look amazing to me, always, 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 always.
You are amazing.
And I'm gonna jock your style and probably get that lip color.
Oh,
FYI.
okay.
So
I mean, I told you I never go through a lipstick, so you can have this one. I
right,
don't have color. Now everybody's seen it now, so there's evidence I wore it.
right,
And let me
right.
know if you can't find it. If you can't find it, it's yours.
Yeah. All right.
I might even have two because I'm a compulsive shopper. I'll check.
Yeah, and I guess we'll talk about this offline, but I want to know more about these leggings that you're trying to find.
Oh, yes, I will. I'm looking at the color right now that I need. Uh, Next time on Relatively Unstable, what's in your cart?
Yes.
We love you guys. Whoever is listening, whoever will listen in the future, because we had a listener, somebody listened to like one of our very first episodes and commented on it recently, and it was so exciting. So
We
we're
hurt
going
you.
to keep pushing. We're going to keep bringing as much of our real, authentic selves as we possibly can without ruining our lives or the lives of anyone else. And hopefully, we will see you next time. Don't forget to like, follow, share,
Save.
subscribe, save, all that stuff. Talk to us. Slide in our DMs. Not like the weirdos. That's another thing we can talk about. There's been some weird shit in our relatively unstable
Yes, it has.
IG.
Yeah.
It's some weird shit. But we love it. We love you. Maybe we don't, but we like you because some people feel real weird about love. So happy Mother's Day. I know my mom is listening and watching. So happy Mother's Day, DR. Love you. Take care. We will see you next time. And we won't be so long. This was totally my fault. My bad, yo. No, it's both our fault. We both take account. We are accountable. Peace. Bye. Bye. Bye.